So now we back officially, baby. All right, we rock it. I don't know what that was about. I don't know why it wasn't showing up, but whatever. It's all good. So, like I was saying, yo, what up, though, guys? It's your favorite businessman, CEO Rico. Y'all already know how we about to get it cracking. It's Friday, 10 p.m., baby. So we got to get things moving. So yeah, like I was saying. So how was y'all week? My week was pretty straight. Last week was a little frustrating. Hold on, 2 seconds. What's up, back? Yeah, we back on live right now. Though it's good. All right, all right. So last week lost out on some money. I had to go through some training though. But it don't look like I'm about to be continuing doing what I was doing. But it's all good though. It ain't no thing but a chicken wing. You feel me? Yo, so tonight we got to talk politics. We got to, as you already know, we talk politics every week. Hey, here's the thing about that. So with the politics, right? Like I always be telling y'all, one is something that we all should know. We all should, be learning more about politics. It's not something that you got to necessarily learn overnight, but it should be something that you are actively learning as time progresses, especially when it comes to local like elections, stuff like that, dealing with your own neighborhood stuff. That's something that you definitely should be paying attention to. So make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can always get the notifications when stuff is popping off. I always got something going on. I've been doing a lot of learning, research, critiquing, stuff like that. So I'm always going to try to bring something new to the show to make it more entertaining, of course, for my people. Cause y'all already know, y'all don't really have, a long attention span, which is all good. It's kind of all of us sometimes, so it is what it is. And there's no shade. Don't get in your feelings. Yo, so not last week, just recently, Trump he implemented. Well, he said he's about to hit the automotive industry with that 25% tariffs, right? So we about to get into that. Of course, Canada, they doing some how many minutes we in? We in 3 minutes. All right, yeah. Canada, they doing some bitching about it. But so we about to turn up. We about to get talking. We about to get the conversation rocking. So let's get into it. It shouldn't mess up, so we should be good.
As you know, and as you've been saying, not reporting as accurately as it should be reported because it's a massive story. Business is coming back to the United States so that they don't have to pay tariffs. And I think also because of November 5th, the election, they're very happy. AI is coming back to levels that nobody's ever seen before. It's a new, sort of a new business, I guess, when you think about it. But it's plants are going up all over the United States, and many of them have already been started. We're getting early electricity taken care of. We're getting permits very quickly for them, and we're going to make their life very happy. They're coming in with tens of billions of dollars. Individual plants will cost 10, 15, even $20 billion. We're going to let them build electricity generating plants along with their plant, and they can't even believe it. And we're going to get them very quick permits, as I've done always. I did that in Louisiana with 2 LNG plants. I got them one permit in 1 day after waiting 14 years, and the other one in 1 week after waiting for 12 years. But this is very exciting to me. This is the automobile industry, and this will continue to spur growth like you haven't seen. Before I was elected, we were losing all of our plants. They were being built in Mexico and Canada and other places. Now those plants largely have stopped, and they're moving them to our country. In Indiana, the great state of Indiana, I love Indiana. Honda is building one of the biggest plants anywhere, and they've just started. They wouldn't have done it without this. In all cases, they wouldn't have done it without what we're doing. So we'll effectively be charging a 25% tariff. But if you build your car in the United States, there is no tariff. And what that means is a lot of foreign car companies, a lot of companies are going to be in great shape because they've already built their plant, but their plants are underutilized, so they'll be able to expand them inexpensively and quickly. But others will come into our country and build, and they're already looking for sites. They're looking for mostly sites. They don't want to take the old buildings that are empty and falling down. They want to build new, and there's tremendous action. There is likewise for other companies and countries like the chip making process. Your chip bill was a disaster done by Biden. All he does is give tremendous amounts of billions of dollars to chip companies that will do nothing with the money. They're not going to use the money here. They're going to just keep it. They have plenty of money. The one thing they have is they have a lot of money. In our case, all we're doing is saying you can't come in unless you build here. And the largest chip company by far is manufacturer from Taiwan is building here, and it'll give us almost 40% of the chip market just with that. They're spending almost $200 billion in the United States to build a plant, and they've almost started. They'll be doing much of the work in Arizona. So we have.
Hey yo, so Pete, right? So just off the few minutes that we just got into this, right? You cannot say that Trump is not putting in work. That's one thing you can't say. I don't care if you don't like the man. Like, if you do like him, I don't care if you don't like Republicans. I don't care about none of that. Just straight up looking at it, Trump came in putting in work for the U.S. He's bringing jobs back. He got manufacturers coming back. Who was it? I can't even remember the manufacturing plant, but they about to build in Louisiana. They about to build in Indiana. No, so you got the steel industry going to Louisiana. They got so much investment that's about to go into there. You got the I'm trying to remember. It's either Hyundai or Honda. I think it's Hyundai. Hey, whoever, correct me. Write it in the comments. Who's going to Indiana to build manufacturing plants there? So you got those two companies. He got I think it was like a bank or two banks that invested money in here. You got data centers that's being built here. Like, you got so many different businesses, different infrastructure that's going to start building here and investing in America, which is going to bring back jobs. So just off of what he already said, he's bringing money back. Now, here's one thing that kind of blew me away, right? So where we at? We in March. So he probably like 2 months into his presidency. Look how much he has done so far. Now, I get it. Some people don't like him. You got people that's complaining about, he's, whatever, transphobic, homophobic. He don't want them to do it, and he's messing up America. Listen, I hear people all the time that say Trump is effing up America. And I just be like, how? And then they go to all these different things. Well, he's doing this, he's messing up. He's messing up the Department of Education. He's messing with Social Security. He's messing with this. And it's like, y'all always say he's messing with something. But do you so when you say that, do you actually like go into and actually do the research and read like, okay, what exactly is he doing? Do y'all ever do that? Thank you, Honda. All right, cool. It's the Honda plant. All right, my man said it. So, do y'all ever go see exactly what he's doing? Do y'all ever like take the time out to stop paying attention to the media, right? And actually go do the actual research to see like what's actually cracking? Because when people always say that, I always gotta, make them elaborate, because I don't really want to go back and forth with people, because people, they can't really have the intellectual conversation when it comes to politics. So they just get so in their feelings and emotional. And that shit pisses me off. Like, I cannot talk to other men who get in their emotions when we having a conversation about other motherfuckers. It's like, I'm not about to argue with you about what these motherfuckers is doing. I can't control what they doing. So why you bitching? You feel what I'm saying? Like, just as a man, I can't do that. It's real unproductive. But listen, let's get back into this for a quick minute, and then we're gonna finish chopping it up in a second.
A lot of exciting things, but to me, this is one of the most exciting. Now, outside of one specific day, and that's Liberation Day. That's the real Liberation Day of America, and that's going to be in April 2nd. And I look forward to it. We'll have a little news conference. We'll talk about it. But this is very exciting. So we're signing a executive order today that's going to lead to tremendous growth in the automobile industry. As you know, the electric mandate that we did allows you to buy a car now, electric or gasoline powered or hybrid. You can buy any car you want. We had it so that within a short period of time you had to buy all electric, and the country could never get, they could never provide the money necessary to build all of those power plants that you would need all over the country. As you know, in the Middle West, they built 8 power stations. That's like the size of this desk or smaller. And they ended up spending $9 billion on 8. And of the 8, 4 of them didn't work.
Bro, 9 billion for 8 or 9 of them or whatever. And I'm actually like, listen, don't get me wrong. Trump be, he kind of sometimes he exaggerates. He kind of make things bigger than what they actually are. And that's why, like, previously, like I said it on camera before, that I stopped being emotional when it came to like politics. I leave emotions completely out of it. I don't operate off emotions when it comes to making a decision when it comes to politicians and stuff like that. But my man's doing his thing. Besides the fact he get to talking crazy and shit like that, so you still got to go do your own research, and which I am going to do that when it comes to the charging stations. But I did hear that at one time. I did hear that they spent a shit ton of money on charging stations. Basically, like they overspent, which we already know that our government has been doing that for a number of years. That's one of the reasons that we are in all this debt that we are already in. So we know this. Then he just hit them with 25% tariffs. Like, I really don't. I can't understand why people be so pissed. I had a dude come in and I was talking to this one dude, and like he started off the conversation that what do he say? Trump is he effing up the economy, and he was talking about the postal service. And because he said something about like it being that he's trying to privatize it and some other stuff, right? And I asked him a question. I said, but the postal service, they've been losing like a lot of money. And I kid you not, when I made that statement, when I said that part, my man's went from Trump is effing up the country and all of this, and he switched it over to, well, somebody has to do it, and we got all this debt and all. And I was just sitting there like, damn, like it just switched that fast. Like I thought he was effing up everything. Now I'm not saying dude perfect. I never say nobody's perfect, but shit, compared to every other president that we had so far within my lifetime, I don't really see him effing up for real. Like I think all the way back to, I'm gonna go all the way back to, I remember when I was in, what grade was I? First grade. We had mock elections. Do y'all remember, have y'all ever had mock elections inside like when y'all was in elementary school? Cause I did. I think it was first grade. It was between Al Gore and George Bush, right? And we had to check off who we wanted to, vote for, everything like that. And off rip, I had voted for Al Gore. Now, since then, I want y'all to think about all the presidents that we have had so far. We had Bush that sent us into a war that lasted, well, the Iraq war was like 20 years, something like that. It was a crazy war. A bunch of people died for no effing reason. We had no reason to be there. That was one. Second president that came in was Obama. And here's the crazy thing about Obama, right? When Obama got into office, of course, I wasn't old enough to vote yet, but still watching it. It was a black dude, and all the black people came out for Obama, all of them, because we was like, hell yeah, first black president, we in there, let's go, right? Emotional stuff, right? But then after Obama presidency was over, I heard a lot of black people saying, man, Obama ain't do nothing for black people. But then I heard some other people saying, he was one of the greatest presidents, black, blah, blah, all that black shit, blah, blah, blah. Then come to find out, Obama didn't do nothing for black people specifically. Even though like he'd get on camera and he'd say like he did and he dropped unemployment and all like that. But it's like it seemed like the presidents, they did something for their people specifically, right? But he didn't. Now, since I started to understand politics and I understand like the way stuff operates, it was one of those situations that I honestly believe there was no way he could have did nothing for black people specifically. It was no effing way. But what was crazy, and I only say that not saying like he really couldn't do. I'm just saying like because it's like certain agendas. You know, you ever heard like it's not the president don't actually run nothing. It's people behind the president that supposedly run stuff, right? But with Obama, he did do all this stuff when it came to like the LGBTQ and all like that, which is mind blowing, right? Because it's like, how the fuck do you push that whole thing? And I ain't saying nothing about that community. You know, everybody deserves human decency, human rights, all that. But how do you push that? It had to be a push, right? Because that's the only thing I can see from it, right? So then after Obama, we had Trump. Now, this is where I want to have a conversation that from this point move forward about, because when Trump got in office, I was, we still young. That's what, 2016. And I still didn't fully understand like politics and everything. So I'm thinking it's more of a racist thing. That's what I was under the impression, listening to other people, not doing my own research, not doing my own homework. Everybody loved Trump before he started. Well, not everybody, but majority of people loved Trump before he started running for president. Then when he ran for president in 2016, that's when people started hating him, right? And then they said, oh, he's worse, he's racist, he all this is blah, blah, blah. Then we had COVID. So they paint him out to be this bad person, right? Then after that, who do we have? We had Biden. And when Biden got in office, I voted for Biden. And the crazy thing was, when I voted for Biden, I did not know that he was actually a part of that what was it? That crime bill that put a whole bunch of black men in prison and all like that back in I think it was like 86 and then 90 something. I didn't know he was a part of all that. And then when I found all this out, and then Trump started running again for this presidency he in now, I made a conscious decision. I said, you know what? I am never going to be moved by emotions when it comes to politics again, because they literally will play on your emotions. And I can't, me as a man, dog, I hate being played. I hate feeling like somebody is playing me, somebody is pulling my strings, somebody has some type of control over my emotions or over me to where it's like I'm doing their bidding. That's when I made a decision. I was like, bro, that shit ain't gonna never happen again. And that's why I say I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat. I'm for whoever gonna give me the best opportunities. The last president that was in there, it really wasn't no real opportunities for real that was being presented necessarily for us. And if I'm wrong, let me know. Y'all tell me what opportunities was present when the last president was in office, because I can't see none. So if y'all know, let me know. But since Trump got in office this time, my man's been putting on. My man's got money coming back in here. He got Elon, you know what I'm saying, doing his thing with Doge, and we actually gonna watch some material dealing with Doge and all the stuff that they doing, because it's actually really crazy on what Doge is doing and all on what they finding, everything, right? So we gonna get into that too. So hold on, let me see something. Well, we are about to talk about Elon, so we can get off Trump because we already talked about Trump. My bad. No, we not. We got some other stuff to talk about, because we got to talk about Canada, because Canada is doing a whole bunch of crying. So y'all already know Trump hit the automotive industry with the 25% tariff. So just make sure y'all remember that 25% tariff on that. So I'm gonna show y'all this real quick, because
Melissa, 7.38 million vehicles were imported and sold in the United States last year. Now, I want you to imagine that if you had that same demand, you're going to put a 25% tariff on 7.38 million vehicles. Clearly, that is not going to happen. What's going to happen once these tariffs go into effect is the automakers will respond in a couple of ways. One, they're going to slow down production in foreign plants for vehicles that are imported here to the United States. They're going to also probably have to raise prices and cut incentives. That'll probably happen fairly quickly. And the final decision they'll have to make is how much capacity do they have to bring production back into the United States? The president says, well, there's some places that only have 60% capacity. It's not as simple as just flipping a switch. there's tooling, there's also making sure that the plant and the supply chain can adjust and bring production from a particular plant overseas back here. But there's no doubt this is going to be a huge hit for the auto industry. One executive in the industry texted me earlier and he said, this is going to drive the auto industry, not the overall economy, strictly the auto industry, into a recession.
I don't know. I kind of call bullshit on that. I want y'all to see this from the beginning, the actual beginning.
Melissa, 7.38 million vehicles were imported and sold in the United States last year. Now, I want you to imagine that if you had that same demand, you're going to put a 25% tariff on 7.38 million vehicles. Clearly, that is not going to happen. What's going to happen once these tariffs go into effect is the automakers will
My bad. That was the beginning.
This is going to drive the auto industry, the overall economy, strictly the auto industry, into a recession. Melissa?
So that's what we're seeing.
Hey, yo, listen. So now, if you pay attention to the way he's phrasing it, everything, right? I want y'all to always remember, when things are bad, things are always going to get worse before they get better. Now, he's showing the stock market. He's showing that the automotive, their stocks is going down, 3%, Tesla, all like that. Here's one thing I want y'all to understand when it comes to we're gonna talk about the stock market for right now, right? When stuff start going bad with the stock market, because if you look at the stock market over, let's say 100 years, the stock market has never like crashed and never went back up. It's never done it. In general, it always rises, right? Now, one thing they always try to do is they try to give you certain information because it's like you can manipulate data to tell a story that you wanted to tell. But in this case, he's trying to make it seem like it's just this horrible thing, the automotive industry, that they're just they won't be able to recover, it's gonna be a recession, all like that. Listen, Stellantis already been firing people like crazy. So when they sit here and try to say certain stuff like that, all you got to do, go talk to the people that actually work in these facilities. Go talk to them. You have a conversation with them. Stellantis been laying motherfuckers off. You got people that's been laid off for like, you got some. I remember. I can't remember who I was talking to, but they said that they got like a permanent layoff. Like they not going back to work no time soon. That's Stellantis. That's one. Tesla. I don't even know nobody who ever worked at Tesla, so I can't even tell you nothing about that. But they stock been going up and down simply because of Elon himself. He owns some, all the shit that he own. Ford, General Motors. I mean, if you invest into those stocks, cool. But I personally don't. Right. But when he say the 25% is going to go on top of it and all like that for all the foreign and all like that, listen, business wise, all those businesses are going to, he talking about some tooling and all like that bullshit, bro. They always retooling and having to set up for certain stuff. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. When General Motors start rolling out the electric Hummer, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember which assembly plant was it in Michigan. I think it was, I can't even remember, so I ain't even gonna quote it. But they rolled out their last vehicles, which I think was the Impala. I think it was when they stopped it, and they basically took the whole plant that made that vehicle and they started to redesign the entire plant strictly for the Hummer, the EV Hummer. So far as all the tooling and everything, bro, they do this already. See, that's the thing. Like they try to give you information to where a lot of people don't know already, and they try to give you this narrative that it's going to be just so bad, and everything is going to be bad, and there's going to be a huge recession. Man, these fucking automotive companies gonna do what they've been doing. Remember when they had that? Remember that when they needed that bailout years ago, when the whole automotive industry was failing, and then the government had to come in and give them money. If it's so called a recession, what the fuck you think they gonna do? They gonna go get more money. Because at the end of the day, we know what? We know that automotive companies, especially like here in like the Midwest, and then you got facilities in Canada, Mexico, all like that, right? If they bring all that shit back here, and hypothetically for some odd reason, they gonna have a recession for some odd reason, which cars are already expensive as ever anyway. If they was to have a recession, the government technically would bail them out. Why? Because they supply so many jobs. You got all these people that's working in those plants. They gonna bail them out. So he's sitting here talking about this damn recession. It's kind of like, okay, if that was to be. But then I also want y'all to always pay attention too. You always got to pay attention to both sides. Why would it technically be a recession? All simply because Trump is going to tax the hell out of you if you have the manufacturing plants outside of the US, if you constantly build these cars outside of the US and then import them back into the US for the American citizens to buy. We not building them. We not making no money during the process, none of that. So he gonna tax the hell out of you. So it's like, well, okay, as a business, I don't want to get taxed at 25% because if I get taxed on that, that's gonna mess with my profit margins, and I don't want them problems. Let me go ahead and bring my cars, my manufacturing back to the US so these US workers can work and then I can still move this product. What the fuck is we talking about? Like, don't let these people fool y'all, man. Cause they be on some straight bull, right? Don't let them fool you. Don't never let them fool. Always follow the money. These big ass corporations, they got money. They gonna pivot. They gonna know how to make money, whether they gonna lay motherfuckers off. Because remember, with the automotive industry, remember all the people that used to work in the plants, they fired all the old people that was making a 35, 40, $45 an hour. They fired all them and they brought in the young people and started paying them 17, 16, $15 an hour doing the same exact work. So all them people that started like that, because it's people in there that's back making like the 20s, the 30s, and all like that. They gonna offer them a buyout or lay them off and get them on out of there, bring new people in. It's the cycle. It's business. You feel what I'm saying? Just don't let them fool you. That's all I'm saying. Don't let them fool you. I want y'all. Hold on.
Okay.
I want y'all to check this one out, right? And the reason I wanted to bring this up and go over this with y'all, right? Because now I haven't watched the full thing. I only watched maybe a few minutes. But remember when Canada was talking all that shit? Remember we discussed it last week. Remember they was talking all that shit about, we hit them with tariffs, they gonna hit us with tariffs, and they serve us with electricity, they serve us with potash, which they said what potash was for, but I have no fucking idea what potash is and what it's for. Even though they said it, I don't even remember it. Like potash, I never heard that in Michigan before this whole trade war thing. Trees and what, maple syrup? Maple syrup, I think it was. But Trump already came on record and was like, yo, we don't need y'all trees, we don't need y'all electricity, we don't need none of y'all shit. We actually give y'all $200 billion a year. We supplement y'all. So basically, it's kind of like, think of it like this. Think of like your side bitch talking shit about what you about to do when you got your main at the crib, cooking for you, taking care of business, taking care of all your stuff, taking care of your babies and all that. The side chick, you only just use her to you know what I'm saying, kind of like, suck you up every now and again. But then she get to talking shit like, yeah, well, if you stop messing with me or if you do this, I'm gonna do this to you. I'm gonna call your girl and let her know. And you basically like, shorty, my girl at the crib already know about you. I pay your rent. Matter of fact, I pay all your bills in that motherfucking apartment that you in. What makes you think you gonna hurt me? What are you gonna do to me? That's basically what that's basically what Trump said. Literally, that's what he said. Cause Canada was like, we ain't gonna give you no head no more. And Trump was like, bitch, I don't need you for no head. The fuck? What you talking about? That's literally what he said. I'm just saying. But Pete, what they said.
Good afternoon. Bonjour tout le monde. Today, my cabinet colleagues and I met to discuss Canada's response to the latest developments in the trade crisis. Yesterday, in the latest salvo in his trade war, President Trump again imposed unjustified tariffs on our nation in violation of our existing trade agreements.
Really?
This time, he targeted the auto industry and the more than 500,000 hardworking, dedicated Canadians that industry supports across.
500,000. So we are supporting their economy heavily. So that's what I'm saying. Heavily. We want all that shit back. We don't want y'all to produce our cars and y'all get paid and all that. We don't want that. Bring our shit back home. Now, don't get me wrong. Let's hypothetically say if stuff get a little bit more expensive. Just a little bit. Bro, we already spend money like crazy anyway. So if hypothetically, if nobody's buying these cars, because if you really want to think about it, if we already making our own products, now some people said, because I remember having a conversation with some people, it was like, Americans don't want to do the work, and if we make everything American made, then everything will be a lot more expensive and stuff like that. I don't necessarily believe that, and here's the reason on why. If you bring all the cars and everything back here, let's just stick on the automotive industry. If you bring everything back here and the automotive employees, they're making all of our cars. How are we then going to say, oh, well, it's going to be more expensive? How? You got more people working now. So with the whole supply and demand, it's more people working. It's more people that got money now. So guess what? We're going to fuel our own economy. And if we got a whole bunch of more cars and more people can afford more cars, it's like, how are they going to make it more expensive? Because at that point, it's kind of like, well, I don't want to go get the new Cadillac. Let me go, you know what I'm saying? Let me go buy, I don't know, let me go buy the Chevy Dart, just for an example. Let's say that car 24,000 and the Cadillac is, they want 40. Well, guess what? The companies is gonna have to figure something out. All right, well, shit, ain't nobody buying these, but they buying a whole bunch of darts. Let's ramp up production on darts, or let's drop these prices over here. Let's create some incentives. The moral of the story is we're supporting our own economy at that point. Our money is circulating in within us versus somebody else making our shit, then bringing it back here, and then we paying for it when you really ain't even got no money for real as it is. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Our country. Now, the President of the United States is trying to fundamentally restructure his economy. It means our economy, and it means the global economy as well. And I understand and respect his goal to support American workers, but I disagree with him that this is how to help them. With time, it will become apparent that these actions will end up hurting American workers and American consumers. I reject any attempts to weaken Canada, to wear us down, to break us so that America can own us. That will never happen. And our response to these latest tariffs is to fight, is to protect, and to build. We will fight the U.S. tariffs with retaliatory trade actions of our own that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impacts here in Canada.
Which is what?
We will protect our workers and our industries during this difficult period. But above all, we will build a new Canadian economy. We will build Canada strong. Se battre pour nos travailleurs, protéger notre économie et nos concitoyens, bâtir un Canada fort. Il est évident que les États-Unis.
Oh man, no, he did not just go French on us. Did he just switch to French because he didn't want us to hear what he was saying? Hold on, let's see.
Ne sont plus une partie de confiance, mais les États-Unis. We can protect our workers and build. The President of the United States reached out to schedule a call. I appreciate this opportunity to discuss how we can protect our workers and build our economies. I will make clear to the President that those interests are best served by cooperation and mutual respect, including of our sovereignty.
Listen, listen, listen. Don't let my man's up here. Don't let that shit fool you. And the reason why I say that is because simply by listening to the conversation, the way he talking, everything. And I'm not trying to do like no real like analyzation or nothing like that. My man is not speaking from a position of power. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember what my man's name was who came here. They had just elected him or something like that. And he came to have a conversation with Trump because he was also touting the same thing, everything about the Canadians, and they gonna hit us with retaliatory uh tariffs and all this shit. If that was the case, why did when they were supposedly about to hit us with tariffs in retaliation to what we did, and then Trump was like, yo, whatever anybody hit us with, we gonna hit their ass back with it, and then we gonna double it, right? Kid you not, they came right back and was like, you know what? We not hitting y'all with no tariffs. We take all that back. We good. We don't want no smoke. That's because I had already looked it up. Bro, we literally satisfy 75%, damn near 75% of their economy. Damn near 75% of their economy depends on us. That's why he said over 500,000 employees work in the automotive industry over there. So you think about it. Bring all that shit back over here. Because one, Canada, their taxes is really like extremely high. It's through the roof. That's one. Two, if we take all of that and we bring it back over here, one, it's going to make sense because they are going to get not them, but the automotive companies that have their vehicles being made over there, they're going to get taxed high as hell, and it's not going to be profitable for them. So they're going to have to bring it back over here. Hold on, we got a comment. So the comment says, with them bringing with the car companies bringing them back to the United States, that means that the prices of the cars are going to be higher, which means they will sell less cars and won't put the car companies want to put the car companies in jeopardy. No, it's not going to be more expensive because think about it. I want you to think about it like this. So typically, you think about the car companies, like cheaper labor. I get like if you ever look at our money compared to Canadian money, it's almost about the same. So basically, for every car that's over there being made, let's say I don't know, let's just give a rough estimate. Let's say it's costing $1,000 for some odd reason. Let's say a grand per car over there. It technically will cost about damn near the same price to build it here. But the fact that Trump said we about to hit y'all with 25% tariffs for you getting them manufactured over there, and then something had just popped up. It kind of threw me off. Over there, and then you're gonna get hit with a 25% tariff over here. The car companies already got crazy profits. So with the car companies already having crazy profits, all it's really doing is they're going to basically just do this. They're going to figure out like, all right, well, shit, we can't have, that 25% tariff that's going to eat into our profit margin. Yeah, we might have to charge the customer more, but the customer already can't even afford it. They still got cars sitting because of that whole chip shortage that happened during COVID. They still got cars sitting that they can't even move. You feel what I'm saying? So by them bringing all them cars, all the manufacturing back over here, right? What that is doing is now they don't have to get a tax with that 25% tariff, which is going to help their profit margin, and then they're going to figure out something within the budget to help that. You feel what I'm saying? Cars are not going to be more expensive because I remember when I went into the Ford dealership. This when I was buying cars for my fleet, and I remember I looked at the Ford F-150. Kid you not, that Ford F-150's price tag was 50 bands. I said, wait, when did trucks start getting so expensive? Like like, so cars are already expensive, but it's like if people already can't even afford them, none of that matters. But when they bring them cars back up, they bring all the manufacturing over here. You're gonna have way more competition. You're gonna have way more jobs. You're gonna have way more money that's in that's circulating within our own economy. We want that. Now, the only place that you really get that super cheap labor is probably down in Mexico, maybe. But I guarantee you, the money, the infrastructure and everything they have to put in place out there, I guarantee you they gonna figure something out to where they're gonna do the same things here. I promise you. Hold on, we got another one. So, bro, did you hear that Canada supplies electricity to like millions of people up north? I think it's Michigan, but that may be what they're talking about as retaliation by not supplying them. Bro, I live in Michigan. Yeah, they said all that shit. They were supposed to turn our lights off. What's today? The 28th. I think they're supposed to do that. It was I think it was like February something or beginning of March. You see our power still on. When put it like this, Canada don't really want them problems with us. I want you to think of it like this too. Let's say you a business, right? And I buy whatever product from you. Right? No, my bad. You buy majority of my product. You a business and you buy majority of let's say you buy 80% of everything that I produce or 80% of one product. Basically, I get a lot of money from you. Why would it make sense for me to come tell you, hey, yo, I don't care what you talking about. I don't care about how you feel. I'm not changing this or I'm going to do this. Or I'm going to basically do something that, like, if you're unhappy with business, I don't care about what you're talking about. I'm going to just do me and ain't nothing you can do about it. What would you say? Okay, I'm going to stop spending money with you. I make up 80% of your entire business revenue. Do you really think I'm going to sit here and say anything to you? I'm going to say, yo, what do you need? Let's have a conversation. Let me fix these problems within my business so I can continue to cater to my number one customer. Canada already said it multiple times that America is their best and favorite trade partner and all that shit. Canada needs us. We don't need them. Trump already said it. We don't need their trees. We don't need their electricity. We need none of that. So nobody's worried about Canada at all. At all. We're going to finish out a few more minutes of this and then we're going to keep it pushing.
Entre-temps, je viens de tenir une rencontre. Ces discussions won't back down. We will respond forcefully. Nothing is off the table to defend our workers and our country. Now, to my fellow Canadians, I don't want to set unreasonable expectations. The road ahead will be long. There is no silver bullet. There is no quick fix. And I know and I understand that many are feeling anxious and worried about the future. Fundamental change is always unsettling. But I have every confidence in our country because I understand what President Trump does not. That we love Canada with every fiber of our being. Because we are stronger when we are together, and Canadians are uniting as never before. Now, we are going to have to live the lessons of recent months. First, that we have to look out for ourselves. And second, that we have to look out for each other. The federal government will do everything in its power to protect Canadian workers and businesses. We will be here for you every step of the way. In the past week, my government committed to use every dollar collected from our retaliatory tariffs to protect our workers. Et la semaine dernière, j'ai annoncé plusieurs
All right, man, keep going to French. Like, nobody want to hear that shit. He ain't got nothing. I'm gonna tell you like this. You can tell when people are when they are in positions of power. You can kind of see when they feeling a little, uneasy to where it's like, oh shit, we ain't really got nothing, but we gonna try to keep the confidence within our people and all like that. It's like, yeah, that's all cool. That's all fine and dandy, but bro, anybody got no faith in that bullshit. I'm just being 100, like, for real. Because he's just bluffing. That's all I can say. So we about to keep it pushing.